Welcome back to Value Talks, another edition of Value Talks. As many of you already know, Value Talks is an advisory platform for genuine advice on all the issues which are important to us as individuals and as a community. We have on our panel experts from various fields like real estate, mutual funds, finance, stock market, uh, education, health, career, etc. We hold these talks with our experts. We upload these talks on our Telegram channel and on our YouTube channel. Our subscribers of Telegram and YouTube channel also post their queries, and which we try and resolve through the help of our subject matter experts. The links of our Telegram channel and our YouTube channel are also on the chat box. So please do subscribe. Spread the word across, and ask your friends and family to join these channels and uh, benefit from this. So today we are going to have a very relevant and a very important talk, which will cover the entire gamut of security and it's a confluence of security, physical security, cyber security, and all other forms of security. And for this, we have uh, three industry stalwarts: Brigadier Jag Varma, Colonel Singh, and Mr. Aditya Vardhan. And their combined experience is really something that's really awesome. And may I welcome all the experts. Producers, could you please switch on your videos? Hi, Aditya. Hello, sir. Good evening. You are all on mute, I think. Colonel Adi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you
loud and clear. Good evening, everyone. This is Aditya, and it's a pleasure to be part of this session for sure.
So, just a second, sir. I'll remove this. Right. So, sir, before we welcome to all of you to Value Talks, and it's indeed an honor to have you all on board, and it's really a privilege to be sharing the same screen as you all guys. And if I start telling everything about all three of you, it will, the entire 1 hour will be spent in that. So please pardon me. I'll be introducing all three of you very briefly. And Jack sir is already laughing. So let me proceed with a brief introduction of each one of you. And so I'll start with Brigadier Jag Varma. Jagu sir, as he's commonly known in the friend and family circle. Jagu sir is, he's a decorated soldier, Vijay Seva Medal, Sena Medal. He's recipient of Chief of Army Staff Commendation Card, UN Enforcement Medal, and whatnot. He has commanded his regiment in JNK, and then he commanded the Rashtriya Rifle sector also. So I will not go beyond that. I will because there's so many laurels to his credit, but and he has done all the kinds of courses which which a bright army officer does. So he has all those courses to his credit. When he in 2014 he hung his uniform, and then he joined as President CRM and Skill Training Vertical of Orion Secure, and he continued there till May 2021. And currently he is holding the position of president with Nebula, a tech company, as also a security company, and there is something very interesting coming up by December 2022, about which he is very secretive. So I will not poke him further. So, Judge sir, it's indeed an honor and welcome to the show.
Thanks.
I will, yes, sir, I will come back to you, sir. Then we have Colonel Adi Singh. I mean, if I start telling about Adi sir again, the entire time will be gone. But he is an acclaimed strategic security leader in the industry, and with more than 29 years of corporate and military experience. And he has raised and developed, a military intelligence school in a foreign land, and that speaks volumes about him. When he was serving, he was vice president in Reliance Industries as head hydrocarbon intelligence and vigilance. Sir, am I right in this? Did I get it right?
Yeah, correct. You're
Right,
right.
sir. And presently he is involved in training in this domain only, and he is not only training Indian companies, but he's also training various companies in the international scenario, like in Nigeria, in Benin Republic, in West Africa, and also in Switzerland. So, Kaladi sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And right, sir. And lastly, I mean, the need of the hour in the security domain, I guess, Mr. Aditya Vardhan, who is an ISB alumni, and I mean his. So I have noted down actually his credentials. He's CISSP, he's CRIS, he's CISA, he's CGEIP, and he's CPISI. Some of them I don't even know what they stand for, but they are all, since CISSP is the gold standard in the industry as far as cyber security is concerned. So, and he has, a career spanning 2 decades, and he has led cybersecurity functions for leading corporates like L&T, PepsiCo, Adani, Kane, Prescott, which speaks volumes about him. So, Aditya sir, welcome to the show.
So thank you, Mr. Kochhar. Thanks for having me here. Pleasure.
Thank you, sir. It's pleasure indeed mine to have you all on board. So I will, security industry, as all 3 of you are aware. You take any company, you will find in the security domain, you will find army officers, or I mean defense officers, I would say, so defense officers, and it's one of the industries, one of the domains in which veteran officers are always welcome. But as we have seen in last decade or so, or more especially in last 5 years, the trends in the security have changed a lot. So, a defense officer coming fresh from hanging his uniform, coming fresh and joining the industry as security officer is, no more fun, I would say. Industry is looking at a lot of things now, and there are a lot of changes. So, I would say, sir, I would start with Colonel RD, I think. RD, sir, as you have been, in the Reliance Industries, and you have looked after the security of large Reliance estates, as well as, their hydrocarbon ring, etc. You are now in the training domain also. So, can you briefly give us, in last decade or so, how the trends have changed in the security industry, and like your training? So, what is the ask from the people who are hiring you as a consultant?
Okay, thank you so much. In fact, Vipul, you've given a difficult task to me to start with the entire discussion. So, but I'll try my best to answer or rather to dwell upon what is required. So, before that, Vipul, I hope I'm loud and clear as far as
Manish, sir,
my
Manish.
sorry, Manish sir, whether it is my voice is clear or not.
It's clear,
Am I
sir.
audible? Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, sir, what I have seen in last about 6 years. So, as people had and Manish sir had stated that production will keep on going while we are doing. So, uh, uh, I took up my premature retirement in 2016, and within a month of my hanging the uniform, I had joined Reliance Industries in Jamnagar, approximately about 20,000 acre of campus and 147 kilometers of perimeter wall. So the perimeter
Wow.
security was spread over 147 kilometers. So there I got a chance to see actually what industrial security you would say per se. And while in our headquarter in Mumbai, in Navi Mumbai, we had the Reliance Corporate Park where you had the corporate security or the corporate park security was being handled. So it was a vast experience for me, wherein if I start going from end to end, I think I'll spend an entire hour in this. But then what I've seen is that physical security has undergone a lot of change. There is a lot of technology being infused in that. So if you take an example of a Jawan in a on the RP gate lowering and the barrier going up through a rope has gone through the click of a button and has gone beyond wherein you have this RFID readers in cars for FASTag on the toll expressways on toll tax collection, the boom barrier going up on their own. So what I have seen is the latest technology is that you either have a RFID tag on your car or that RFID or that this thing touch is there in your employee card it and the boom barrier will come up because it has recognized you as a bona fide employee of the company. So even the perimeter security, small little thing has access
Understood, sir. So what you're
control has
trying,
gone such kind of a change. We are also seeing number recognition and all those things coming in. That is one second aspect is that we have moved on from physically identifying a person to retina, iris, facial recognition, wherein you just have to stand in front of a camera and you are recognized, your facial biometrics and facial are recognized, and you are entry on that. Allowed. Same thing goes for if you talk of perimeter security, we used to have illumination. Now that illumination has gone on to the level of sensors, wherein any person approaching, the camera will zoom on to him and try and identify or classify him as an unidentified person or an object. So that is one thing which has gone on to the perimeter security. So these are one or
great, sir.
two
You have,
which I
sir, please.
have mentioned. I think we can dwell on some of these more in kind of
Right.
that we are looking at.
Right, sir. So the relevant point which I gather from this is that the technology is now very much integrated into the physical security, and there are so many technical gadgets and applications which are assisting the physical security guy. Right, and Aditya, I will come to you later, but this is a point to note that there is a lot of data being generated. There are sensors. There's drones feeds coming. There are other things, and all this is also vulnerable. So I will talk to you on this later. But Brigadier Judge sir, this is for you. So you have been in the training wing of Orion Secure and CRM, and did you cover all these aspects in your training also while preparing for the security of or whether you're doing assessment of security or security audit or providing security services? cover all these aspects.
Manish, first of all, thanks for getting me on this wonderful forum. I will also nuance my response, thinking that at some stage this will go into a YouTube mode,
Yes.
and also be a medium for the aspiring officers coming out of the army or defense services,
Absolutely, sir.
and knocking their doors at the security industry in whatever roles that are available.
Right.
While I'm thankful to you of having eulogize what I've done in the service, but just a word of advice for the people who are going to enter. My boss in the DGNCC, when I was last day of my service, and General Huda later, who was my co-commander, they said that, Jug, lock up your uniform and rank into a box and keep it at home and forget it. Why I say this is that while in this service we hanker or we run for, whether it's awards or appointments or courses, while they have a huge meaning while you're in service, and they also prepare you emotionally, mentally for the second career. But the industry, they may look at it while they are picking you up, but what is more important is delivery after you enter. And while I agree with RD about the tech dimension that has come in, but as on today, 2015 when I entered, 90% was unorganized and 10% was organized. And today at 2022, the figures that I have is that 60% is organized and 40% become 60% unorganized and 40% become organized. So slowly there's a huge transition in the industry from the unorganized to the organized sector. And the organized sector today is prepared to invest in technology. They are prepared to pay for it, because for them it results in saving of costs. So they look at it as an investment to save their leakages and other things. So that's a big difference that has emerged. Similarly, the skilling and training, which was earlier a forgotten part. And when I say forgotten part, I want to qualify. If you look at a simple condominium without any major infra, you'll find that even today, a rickshaw puller by the night or a normal village unemployed youth, he mans your security gates. He may have no clue of the first aid, of the firefighting abilities, and of course, they're paid poorly. So this is one part of the industry requirement. The second part is which RD is very eloquently organized from experience in the Reliance, which we were also surveying. So I, from CRM, moved to the skilling and training, which addresses the need of the contemporary security personnel, and not only at the guard level, but also at the supervisors, assignment managers, security officers, and senior positions, transitioning them to be A, more aware of technology, and B, a security guard should be equipped and should be aware of technology available. And more importantly, the soft skills have assumed a huge importance. Whether his ability to speak and converse in functional English, not fluency, I would say, his ability to look at you and click his camera and take a photograph out of it, put it in the printer, get a copy and put it in the folder and give it to you. So this is what is being expected out of a security guard at the front end. And of course, back end, whether it's the looking at the command and control center, whether it is deploying of the CCTV cameras and other technology, whether it's the boom barriers, etc. So today, the the skilling and training going to assume a lot of importance, and also over the years, the industry and the government have realized that unless you offer a career progression path for entry from a security guard or otherwise, you will not get the results that you are looking for. And to couple with this, there have been a shift in the payment pattern. There's been a shift in the timely disbursement salaries. There's been a shift in the compliance. Today, no employer is prepared to pay a private security agent unless he is sure that this agency has met all the government compliance.
Right.
And therefore, they've adopted or incorporated advisors to ensure that the payments there's a proof to it, and only then they release the payment.
Right.
Now, the other end of the spectrum is that today a private security guard is also aware that he's entitled to gratuity, he's entitled to PF, he's entitled to, the
Right, sir.
ESI, etc.
He is entitled.
So he's also aware. So this is the shift that I've seen in last 9 years in terms of quality and in terms and also you would have seen that the government has also streamlined and is making clearances possible at a very fast pace. And RD would bear out that soon, the foreign direct investment is coming in and organized world players are coming and holding a center stage. The shift that has taken is that earlier the defense personnel were the key, but today, since it is getting specialized, and particularly the commercial court is assuming a lot of importance. So unless a defense officer understands that how he has to bid for a particular client or a RFI or a tender, he stands to lose out. We all are aware.
I'll just summarize a little bit. I understand that though we will not discuss that aspect of change in security, since security guard as of now is much more aware and all. I will not go into those details, but yes, skilling has become very important, and this is one area where the officers who are planning to transition from uniform to this industry takes a very big, it has become important, and there are going to be opportunities. And as Chakra sir, highlighted that there are many international players who are going to enter into this domain. This is going to assume even more importance, and also the government is also making efforts in this direction, and there is Skill India and all those efforts also going on in this direction. But I'll come to Mr. Aditya Vardhan. Aditya, hi. As both the guests highlighted that boom barriers, biometrics. Then there are there are many companies who are also having artificial intelligence, face recognition applications. There's data being generated. There are number plate readers, and the drones which have come into it. So all kind of data is being generated, and to top it all, the COVID scenario, work from home also started, and most of things went to cloud. So where do you see, besides physical security, where is this all leading to, and what's the scope here in this domain?
Sure. So, Manish, just one clarification. So definitely, I'll talk about from my experience, right, across cybersecurity. Either now or maybe later, we can also cover, and you can suggest when we can cover that. What could be the possibilities for our, from our, armed veterans as well, right, where they can. So probably,
I have
perspective I can share maybe later.
Actually, I have a question on that also for you.
Sure.
That while there are many armed forces officers who come into, firstly, they join physical security and then they also realize that cyber security is also taking center stage now. It's not taking center stage, it's already there. And some of them are also from non-technical background. So I would also like you to cover if somebody wants to make a career in cyber security and he may be from tech or non-tech background, how to go about it. But that is also one thing which maybe after the first question we'll come to it.
Sure. So I think it's around 22 years. I've been into this industry, right? So, and I've seen a very interesting shift, which few of the audience or maybe my fellow panelists would have also seen. Around 15 years back, right? So predominantly we were talking about two things. We were talking about antivirus. We wanted to secure endpoint, and we were talking about certain controls on perimeter firewalls.
Right.
And then taken a shift in a different perspective. The boundary got blurred. There is no boundary. Things got expedited because of COVID. Now everyone is kind of connected from everywhere. And interestingly, we are again back to controlling. When I say antivirus, obviously I meant endpoint. Again, we are end up controlling endpoint, right? So it's a 360-degree shift which has happened, right? While the intensity is obviously different, the controls are pretty different. Controls are more elaborate. Earlier, we used to talk about antivirus. We are really talking about, in true sense, layered security, where we are saying we will have antivirus, we will have host-based prevention, we will have certain other controls, and so on and so forth, right? So that has gone. But it's a shift which has happened, okay? And again, go back to 8 to 10 years. I was leading cybersecurity for Kane India, right? Kane India, we all know it's a oil producer.
Right.
And they effectively, the company has had two distinct network with no connection, complete silo, right? One was IT network, another was production, or you may want to call OT network as well.
So there was an air gap between them.
There was an air gap, right? We were not supposed to have any visibility into it, right? So when we were talking, there was lack of confidence. There were no use cases as well, right? Now fast forward few years, now there are lots of analytics, there are lots of artificial intelligence which is coming in, and then the use cases started initially from the read-only perspective, where they said, okay, we can give you the data, right, which you can feed into your artificial intelligence or analytics engine and get us certain input onto how we can improve, where we are going good, bad, and so on and so forth, right? Fast forward a couple of years, now there is a conversation which is bi-directional, right? So we are seeing a true convergence between IT and OT, where the OT environment is accessed, not just read only, but to edit as well. But this is again still in a very early stage. Reason being, we all understand OT is still an emerging technologies, right? OT operational technologies spoke about boom barriers, spoke about certain other sensors, right? Actually, that is becoming a reality, and more, now with emerging use cases coming in, now the technologies are kind of evolving, where they are incorporating certain security into it, and at the same time, there are third-party solutions coming in to support, right? So in this entire ecosystem, what we are seeing is, and very rightly put in the name of this entire session is confluence, right? We are seeing, more and more convergence on IT and OT environment, right? When we are going, because see, I'm a business head, I'm a practice consultant, security advisor, whatever you may want to call. When we are going and talking to, say, a very interestingly, a pharma company, right, or a healthcare company, which is kind of dealing with certain manufacturing as well, they are saying, okay, get me the identity and access management program, but please cover my medical equipment as well, right? So we are coming to that stage. So we are seeing lots and lots of convergence, which is happening. Just started. going to go quite ahead from here. But this is a real thing, what we are seeing. So it's pretty exciting time. Now, the third thing is obviously you spoke about data. Data, it's a data explosion which is happening, right? Everywhere. Here we are seeing OT and the other areas where we are getting data. Internally also we are getting a data. And the ground reality is the organizations are struggling to get a hold of the data, right? They have got lots of technologies in place, but if you ask, and I'm saying even a lot of so-called mature organization as well, if you go and ask saying, "Hey, tell me where your data is, what kind of data you are handling, who has got the access to the data," more often than not, you will not get a very confident answer, right?
Right.
So data in a security parlance, we are saying data has become a new boundary. We are ending up securing the data, right? And this is the reality. This is the reality. So just to summarize I'm completely in sync with the sirs who spoke, right? Colonel Saab and Brigadier Saab who spoke. There are lots of we are seeing there's a convergence which is happening between cyber and physical, and this is an opportunity, for the armed force veterans here, and at the same time, the cyber security is kind of evolving around the data. So there is another opportunity to really put in a framework and the strategy what we talk about, and get the right kind of security.
Right. Thanks, Aditya. Gentlemen, all the people who are with us today as the audience, I would like to highlight something. The security is not, it's no more poorly paid domain in the industry anymore. So if you are planning to make a career in security domain now, it's a highly specialized. Everyone needs it. It would be very wise of you if you people plan and prepare for it, which I'm going to cover, which I'm going to ask our experts here, what kind of preparation is required. But let me tell you that security is a highly paid domain now, provided you play your cards well and you prepare for it and you prove your worth. So my sirs, as I already mentioned to all of you, that the aim of this talk is to give a brief overview of what security is all about and what kind of preparation a defense officer should do in terms of skilling himself or in terms of making the CP. I will come to CP part later. In terms of skilling himself, whether he's a tech officer or a non-tech officer, so what he should do so that he gets a good job in this domain before he has hung the uniform. So, Judge sir, I will start with you. Somebody who's 6 months away from hanging his uniform, whether he is a short service or a PMR officer and I would require top 3 points from you so that I get the opinion of RD sir also, and then I'll come to Aditya separately because his is little more specific to cyber.
Thanks, Manish. There are 2 aspects to this. So the officer has to decide whether he will be on the PSA side or whether he'll be on the employer side, because there are 2 different dynamics which RD will be able to support my case. Having said this, my appeal to the officers would be that if they are really serious, then they should not take re-employment. Of course, this is a personal choice. Why I say this is that when you are demitting officer at 58, you are tied to elder for the industry or the prospective employer to accept you. This is one part. My personal experience is that if you take re-employment, you're doing or repeating what you learned over the years, unless there's a family compulsion or a station compulsion, I understand. But those who do not have this compulsion, they should join after they leave at 54. Much better for PMR cases and super better for our short service community. My advice would be that certainly pick up a course which the DGR offers, whether it's the MDI, whether it's the IIM. Why I say this is that it unshackles your mind and opens up your mind and also your group together. And many times I've seen at least MDI faculties very, very dynamic. And it gives you a good start because I have come across colonels, brigadiers accepting as low as 50,000 rupees salary. And I've also seen our fraternity accepting from 1.5 to 3 lakhs a month. So to get the start, it's very important to get a tag of a qualification. While somebody might object or not agree to me, but certainly a course gives you a head start. This also gives you time to prepare yourself emotionally, mentally, to knock at the prospective employers. So these are two things that I wish to say. Now, by and large, we are shy of reading. We must get over that and read technology, understand technology. Only then you will find yourself be readily lappable by the employers.
Right, sir. Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Adi, sir. Top three advice.
I would strongly support Brig Jag at the 6 months course that DGR offers. It transitions you from military to corporate. It makes you understand how does the corporate function, and definitely there are management techniques and other things which are being taught, which we may have been doing in our army or armed forces, but we'll learn it in a very structured way where the corporate, wherever we are working, it will come in very handy. So it's a very much a required thing. I leave it to people to do it. Other than that, there are two more aspects that I want to highlight. There are specific qualifications and there are generic or general knowledge qualifications which are available online. So, Colonel Manish, if I may extend the period of last 6 months to last 1 year, would that be all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Why not?
Because if you start thinking, you would have thought that if you want to take PMR or you don't want to continue short service, you would have thought about it a year ago. So that means that the first 6 months of that 1 year, that means a year ago, you should start Googling, you should start searching internet to talk about only the technology part of security which is available. I'm not covering the info security, cyber security part, that we have the expert. I'm covering only the physical security. There are so much of information available online. You go on it and you will take about 10 to 15 days to generally gel into whatever is available as far as technology is concerned. 15 days max. If you spend about 2 hours every day, 15 days max. Thereafter, you get on to the platforms like Coursera and those platforms which offer you without any fees some kind of certification. Yeah, those courses they are offering free of cost. Please do them, hard skill as well as soft skill. I will not dwell upon what hard skill and soft skill, that we can subsequently discuss, or maybe we do a telegram. So we should do that. And third thing then I come on to is the typical specific qualification. I would, as far as my knowledge is concerned, there are so many courses available, but if you're talking about physical security, you got CPP, you got CFE, you got PCI courses. There are courses offered by ASIS. So you should choose one of that depending upon whether you want to go into an investigative role, whether you want to go purely into a physical security role, or you want to do something else. There may be people who want to do supply chain management. There may be people who may be wanting to do business development also. There are people who are wanting to do finance also. There are people who are expert in finances. So specific courses, paid courses. My underlining factor is that if something is paid, we'll buy it. Something is offered free to us, we'll do it in our own time. So please do one of those courses. It will come you very handy once you move out of the army and start applying those education. So these are the three things that I want people to do in 1 year. Online knowledge, soft skill, hard skill, free courses by Coursera and other platforms, and then doing a specific qualification nearer while you are going out of the army. So that will give you currency, and I think will pitch you at a much higher level than you would have done without it. That's all so far from my side. I hope I've covered. Thank you.
Yes, yes, sir. So Aditya, can we have your views also for a veteran officer? I mean, for an officer who's planning to make a switch to the other side of the fence, and he has, say, 1 year of planning, and firstly, he is a non-tech officer. Okay, and he is, so I will not make your job easier. I will make your job difficult. He is a non-tech officer, because I get a lot of calls from non-tech officers from infantry, armored, and artillery, and various other things. And we are non-technical. We don't have much choice, which in my opinion is not true. So can you tell me that a non-technical officer, though he has been handling security, he knows the gamut of security, he knows the threat, okay, but he doesn't know how to go about it. So how does he, first of all, how does he assesses that he is suitable for this technical security domain, cyber security or whatever? And once he finds that he has the aptitude, how does he go about it?
Sure. So I'll just give me a few minutes. I think, Colonel Manish, I would like to expand it a bit, give my fellow audience kind of view of how they visualize themselves into cybersecurity space. In cybersecurity for ages, we typically call that it's a gamut of three things. One is the technology part of it, more technical. The other is on the process part of it, and the third is on the people part of it.
Right, right.
And I think irrespective of the choices, etc., irrespective of how it looks like, I think everywhere the kind of the same, right? Including in armed forces as well. Whatever understanding I have got, right? Including armed forces as well. There's a process, there's a people, and then eventually there are technologies which we are using irrespective of whatever role we are in. So depending upon the current exposure or the interest part of it, definitely we can choose where we want to be. But I cannot be more. I cannot conquer more what Colonel Saab said, and then I think Brigadier Saab also said. I think very important aspect, whichever role you are in, just start loving the technology. Right? You will have to. Okay. So there is no kind of, you can't deviate from it. Just love the technology. Don't worry about whether you are able to understand. Right? You will not understand to start with. If it is new to it, you will not understand. Right? And let me give you a comfort. Even me, after 22 years, and then whoever say they understand cybersecurity in totality, they do not.
Right.
Okay, it's a very big statement. Slightly on a serious note, what it means is the security is changing so fast. There is a place for all the people who kind of approach security in a framework manner, right? And building that thought process, because you have already got that exposure on thinking, threat in totality, really make you the best person to understand that overall gamut, overall framework of cybersecurity. Now it all becomes operationalizing it, right? Can be done, right? We'll put in people, we'll put in process, we'll put in technology, we will do it. But you understand it. I think that's very, very important. Now, if you look at from an overall cybersecurity standpoint, that will probably give us some idea where we can get into as a next step is, one is obviously, kind of people training, right? Helping them, and the training could be around the general hygiene, training could be around the specific areas of technology or the operations which we will cover. The second thing is on the process part of it, right? You would hear certain terminology called GRC, governance,
Right.
risk, and compliance, right?
Right.
Probably make it simpler. Probably the first 1 or 2 steps could be that we get understanding of how do we create policies and processes. And there are templates available. You need to just fine tune in terms of understanding the corporate environment. And then, as I think Daman sir also said, in terms of understanding the risk, you understand the risk, create those policies and processes, right? So this is the process part of it. The third is the technology part of it. In technology, there are various areas which could be, there could be areas around security testing, right? You may hear terminologies called VAPT, right? As you carry out lots of testing, maybe on the physical part of it and all. Similarly, it happens on the cyber part of it. And the good part is nowadays when customers are taking, they are kind of considering both cyber and some part of physical, physical exposure assessment as well. So somewhere we are seeing it's blurring. Then the other aspect, which could be, I think, for army veterans who are kind of, or the force veterans, sorry, who are kind of managing that kind of gamut is security operations, right? So I have seen people getting into the security operations or delivery leader role, which require more of understanding of the overall delivery gamut, and who better than our armed forces guys who can handle the operation, right? You have handled all the large operations. This is nothing what you are going to handle. So I think the operations, this entire technology or the process part of it, the operations become important channel. Similarly, there is also called, you probably would hear terminology called SOC, Security Operations Center, right?
Yes.
This is another piece, the Security Operations Center for people who probably don't know about it much. Security Operations Center is nothing but the program, combination of people, process, technology to identify threat and then respond to it, right? As quickly, as efficiently, as effectively as possible, right? So effectively, someone who can visualize how that entire threat landscape would look like is a good fit for this entire operation. Now, the other piece beyond that could be that you kind of build an expertise into certain security technologies and get into it, which I would rather not prefer, right? Getting a understanding into the various security technologies is very, very technical. I think that is not the way to go. The way to go is those 2-3 areas which just I spoke. I'll just summarize. One is on the GRC or the policy process compliance part of it. The second thing is on the delivery operations, very good fit. The another is on security operations center, right? And the fourth could be into overall what you call people training, awareness, and so on and so forth, right? So these are 3 to 4 areas which I believe could be starting step. And from my experience, what I have also seen is I have seen seniors taking starting role, not thinking much about the salary part of it, and then once they are in the ecosystem for a year or 6 months, I have seen them moving fast up the rank. I think this would be one of the strategy. You get exposure, and then effectively, because see, you already got, you need not to establish. Everyone knows that you are kind of graduating or kind of transitioning from the armed life to the corporate life, and this is where I think it's a very genuine rationale behind taking up the starting role, not thinking about the remuneration part of it, and then move up the rank, which you already have the credentials.
So Aditya, I have one more question for you. You see all the officers, whether it is some short service officer, of course, they have little more time, and they have time to climb the ladder, and they are at an advantage. But people who are taking PMR or person who's coming up, PMR means he's not completing the full service, but he's taking voluntary retirement. So there are officers who take voluntary retirement, and there are some who come out after completing their full service, and then they come out. So I'm mainly talking about those people who either have some kind of exposure to technology and coming after full service, or people who are coming after short service, 5, 10 years or 15 years. Would it be good for them, because they would come at managerial roles? I mean, they would not come at a fresher role. They're coming with certain amount of experience. They are polished. They are already trained, and they have been officers. So, what about certifications like CISSP? And I know quite a few of my friends who have done CISSP. So, what are those certifications which are most valuable? There's so many of them, but there is. I have seen people doing pen testing. I have seen people doing certified ethical hacking, and there are so many certifications. But what are those top 3 certifications which one should do, and which will put them? They may not be very technical in their aptitude, but they understand the threat perception.
Okay, so I think slightly difficult to respond it that way, because depending upon the existing exposure, right, and the future interest, the certificates might vary, and we all understand cybersecurity is a very, very vast field. Right.
Yes.
One of the things I think which could be a quick starter is that they may think of taking certain courses like ISO 27001, right? ISO 27001 is kind of becoming a de facto standard across organization, and I think it could be a first step even for everyone, because it exposes you to various aspects of cybersecurity in a non-technical manner. Right? It's not a very technical certificate. It gets you the exposure into various domains of cybersecurity has. So it has certain controls which it says. And once you start reading about it, once you start getting exposed to it, you will get to know, okay, these all security controls are there. And how do you? And it's a very clear life cycle. How do you implement those controls? You bring in certain more processes, you bring in certain more technologies, you pull in people, right? So ISO 27001, in my experience, could be the first thing which they can do, and it's not that technical. So it could be the first thing. Now, once you are there and you get that initial understanding, I think CISSP, we all know, is a gold standard of cybersecurity, right? Which is kind of, for everyone's understanding, it is called as 1 inch deep and 1 mile wide, right? What it means is it gives you exposure across cybersecurity, but it won't get you very deep into any specific area. At least the CISSP has an overall understanding of how cybersecurity can work, right? From ISO 27001, if you are kind of getting into, say, I want to get into as a cybersecurity manager or something, CISSP can be a good path, but it is considering it's going to expose you to lots of areas, majority of areas of cybersecurity, please do expect it's going to be a bit technical. And though at the same time, it will expose you to lots of different things, right? The another area which you could think of is to having a project management certificate, right? Like PMP, project management professional. It's kind of taking you to a role of delivery side of it, right? The operation side of it, having an exposure on PMP, etc. That could be other good areas. And then there are individual technical courses. As Mr. Manish, you rightly said, someone wants to get into the ethical hacking, can take, say, CA, Certified Ethical Hacker.
No, but does that have the scope? I mean, so what is the value?
Lots of scope. Cyber security, you get into cyber. Now I think it's crazy a word out there.
No, I'm asking very specific questions.
Whether it's a right for them to get into that much technical, to start those courses, something the question to be asked, right? If someone who is very keen on technology, understand technology, is coming, say for example, from Signal Corp, understand technology, you want to get into ethical hacking, etc., etc., it's good to have, right? If you have your self-interest. Otherwise, I will also not prefer to start with CH.
Right. Right.
Right? Because you don't want to get into ethical hacking. You don't want to. It will take you, lot of time to kind of excel yourself
So,
into those technical.
so from managerial aspect, I think I would summarize that ISO 27001 is one thing where one can start, and then if it interests him or her, and then it can be further built upon by doing the gold standard, I think, which will be the CISSP, which is going very, very, I mean, that
Yeah.
doesn't require any more.
These are a couple of certificate, I think, and as I said, depending upon the line you want to get in, right? Then you can take the various options as well, and not necessarily that you want to start with CISSP, but CISSP kind of gives you the breadth of understanding on cybersecurity.
Sir, Adi sir, you want to add something?
So what he has very rightly brought out is cybersecurity is a very vast field now. There are a lot of scope in it, but I would just like to add on to it is that he very rightly mentioned that ISO 27001 is something which is in thing for the veterans who are moving out, and since they are going to the leadership roles, and they would mostly be in a supervisory role where they would be checking or kind of carrying out testing of or the control measures being adopted by the company. But for some of the short service officers who would like to pursue a active career in cybersecurity, courses such as certified ethical hackers, CISP, even CISO to some extent would be though they are the gold standards, and they would be very handy, wherein these guys would be able actually to get into, if not completely technical, but at least part of the technical role which the cybersecurity
Right,
also has, and subsequently get on to this qualification of ISO 27001 as they progress in life. For veterans who have completed maybe around 20 years of service or so, they can really start from ISO qualification only. So that is where I would like to bring out certain suggestions for the short service and the veteran officers. That's all.
So I would rather say that that there are in cyber security or security domain, there are certain things which require only understanding of the threat perception. There are certain areas in which you have to be operational. You have to have a hands-on knowledge, wherein only the technical courses would help. And there are certain places where you may be involved in the tech sales, and you need to understand that what the product is all about, and you need to have some critical knowledge, and combined with your sales or your convincing skills, if you want to get into those kind of skills. Would I be right in saying that, Mr. Vardhan, that you have to accordingly choose your
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right.
I think what we were trying to put in is wherever kind of getting us an entry, right?
Right.
To start with and start making sense on the cybersecurity part is something, few certificates which we suggested. I think there are hundreds of certificates which are available. Right.
So, gentlemen, there is no set answer to this particular question. Only thing is that you have to, see where do you want to go. If you are a core tech person, then you may undertake some very technical course like, CISSP. Though I have seen a lot of non-technical officers doing CISSP, it's not but it does require a lot of hard work. But if you want to get into, roles like where you want to audit and all, 27001 is a good this thing. If you want to be in sales, then it requires a totally different skill set, and you can have some knowledge of. You can keep reading about, as Brig Jag mentioned, you have to read about technology, and as Aditya also mentioned, that you have to love technology. Whatever role you are in, you have to love it, and know it, what is working behind this, So I would, not dwell on it any further. I would come to Brigadier Jug now. Sir, the Orion Secure was in, it was in total security gamut. It covered all facets of security, whether it was cyber security, investigative security. And this question is also to Colonel Adi. Investigative security is also, physical investigations as well as forensics is also one part. And, what we call as detective also, corporate investigations. So that is also one field which has got a lot of scope. So, Jaksha, what is, how does one prepare for this kind of a role? I mean, int officers, of course, will take it, it will be very easy for them. But for other officers as well, intelligence is, of course,
So,
it will come naturally.
Manish, before I talk about what you asked me about the investigative role, I just want to add what Adi and Aditya have mentioned about the cyber security. I was also involved in recruiting officers to head the vertical that we're trying to create on cyber security.
Okay, so.
It's very interesting and heartening to inform you that we find it very difficult to get the right fit. And the CTC would range anything between 45 lakhs to 60 lakhs. I'm talking of 2 years ago. It should be now more to get the right guy. When I say right guy, means somebody who can also bid for cyber security tenders or RFPs in the domain that comes across to you as a private security agency. So this is one input that I want to share. So there is a huge scope on cybersecurity. Having said that, very few understand that what cybersecurity actually involves. Apart from the leaders, we also need a team of people at the lower level who are going to check the cybersecurity measure, whether they are physical or actual on ground. So there remains a huge demand of cybersecurity personnel at all levels. Now, coming to what we call as the investigation or background verification domain, certainly the int officers have an edge on others. But today you'll find a lot of police officers are also finding their way into this. And surprisingly, they demand higher pay packages than the hardcore million guys, for the simple reason that their network or the understanding of the setup in civil is also better. And also they can easily access the existing systems or structures that we have in the civil side, being an ex-police officer. So
but sir, what about the army officer, police officers? We want them. We want to back those jobs.
So the army officers, they again we come back to the basic that either they read or they equip themselves by the virtue of various courses that are available, which will empower them to perform the job better.
Right, sir.
I cannot say which courses because I'm not aware of it, but I'm sure RD or Aditya can make a mention.
Sure, sir. Colonel Adi, sir, you have been into this role, I think, yourself, investigative role. And so, can you guide us to this? And there is a lot of business opportunities also, entrepreneurial opportunities also available in this particular field. So, how does it go about?
So, again, I would go on very short and small courses and those structured online courses which are available. So, I would leave apart, I myself being from Endcore, so I did not do any of the courses before I joined Reliance Industries because of the expertise or the experience that I had gained in the army. But I would
Right, sir.
talk in general for all the army officers. The best thing to do, there are two very prominent courses which are available. One is the Certified Fraud Examiner, which is a whole soul of entire investigation, whether it is a industrial, corporate, fraud, gratification, malpractices, name a thing, banking frauds. So it covers the entire gambit of the investigation which you can carry out, and it gives out in a very structured way. So anybody who want to get specific into the role can definitely get into this CFE qualification, and it's a
See, sorry, sir.
bit of a,
Which one?
it is CFE, Certified Fraud Examiner. So
Okay,
there is
CF.
a association of certified fraud examiners. I'll share the link of that also. I've shared the link for the
Sure,
security
sir.
courses. So one can
Great.
do that in case he wants to get into a serious this thing. Other than that, even in the physical security, you are required to carry out investigations at times, most of the times, because medium level or low level investigations are best left to the physical security. Only sensitive ones comes to the whatever the fraud management specialist, whoever is there. So in the SS only, I have given this link. You have a PCI course, that is Professional Certified Investigator. So it is part of the CPP, Certified Protection Professional course. It is part of CPP. In case you do CPP, you have done this. Other than that, in case you have not done CPP, you can do this PCI course. It takes about 2 months, and about a 500-page carried out at some point of time in your career, the details which are mentioned, and you go in for an examination, you acquire that qualification. It gives you a structured way of how to carry out investigations. Other than that, there are so many other courses in forensics, the fake currency courses, and so forth. Those are small, short courses which are available, which you can do online, paid as well as free, which are on the other platforms. You can do that, and the best thing is to learn on the job once you are there. So these courses are meant to put you into the arena of investigative field. There are I'll take 2 more minutes in giving out where all you can get employed thereafter. Say for example, you've done any of these courses, say CFE. So there are dedicated companies which are carrying out investigations. There are audit firms like KPMG, EY and all. They value CFE to a very great extent. Then there are multinational which have their headquarters. India has also got multinational, but multinational which have got headquarters in Europe and Western countries, they value a CFE qualified guy much more than a non-CFE qualified guy.
Sir, all the
So
intellectual
they,
property, wherever the intellectual property is important,
yes,
they also have.
exactly. Banking sector, such kind of places. India, I was in Reliance, Adani, then you have these Tatas and all, they have roles for intelligence and vigilance. So they call it intent vig, but there you can go in maybe without CFE and doing some other short-term courses. So, so this is what is the field available.
Right,
These are the
Aditya,
courses. Yeah, I think I'm equal.
comes back to me again. I will open the question and answer session so that people can clarify their questions instead of me covering some more issues. So anybody who has got questions can raise their hand and we will allow you to speak. Yeah, Brijendra.
Sir, I got one query. Just I'm sure, sir, the veterans and my seniors will are qualified enough and good enough to reply, sir. Sir, I
Please,
am
please ask a specific person. Whom do you,
Yes,
this
sir.
query is addressed to whom?
Sir, this query is addressed to all the veterans. Those are there, sir. Sir, query is very simple, sir. I am about to leave on 15 September, sir, this year, and I am a technical graduate. I am a computer engineer, but my that knowledge is now too old. I need to brush up everything, and it will take not less than a year or so. But still, I am getting the job opportunities from n number of MNCs in the security. I just heard cyber security and others, and then start for it.
That you are getting a lot of offers from MNCs, and after that, what?
sir, shall I upgrade myself, upskill myself in my that old domain only, that is computer science engineering, or shall I continue with this present persona, or what the security officer course or security officer of profile is getting open to me, and people are I am looking up, somebody can give me a call to join the MNC.
So what do you want? What do you want to do? I mean, I will take on this question. What do you want to do? You want to join security domain, or you want to join your computer engineering related domain? What do you want to do? That's up to you.
Sir, which would be more comfortable and beneficial for me, sir? Because when I'm joining this, I'm having 11 years of experience as in a security professional, and that is counted when I'm going into the security manager or this kind of profiles and roles. However, if I'm going as a computer science engineer, I will not take anyone as a fresher, sir. They are taking me as an intern.
Yeah, Aditya, would you like to take it?
Yeah, I will give it a shot, right? So I think as a corporate guy, right? So you won't like yourself to be as intern coming into the corporate world and intern. Anyway, it's a very big change for you to come in, managing probably hundreds of people, and coming into intern is going to be a different world. So just be for it, right? That is number one. Number two, I think if I were you, I would, and I think this is the whole idea of this entire conversation, is this: the security, physical and cyber is kind of convergent. Take upon the security, and the other part, which is cyber, is anyway related to your computer science thing. So if actually you are not leaving your computer science behind, you are kind of extending on top of it, building on cyber security, and now now it's a what you call chief security officer, right? Chief security officer. There are lots of conversation happening. It's a role which is moving very fast, which kind of converge both physical security and cyber security into one. So if I were you, and if I could add my few cents to it, take up on it. Don't get into as an intern, and then parallelly build on your computer or the cyber part, and kind of convert them together. Maybe in a couple of years down the line, you may think of it.
Okay, Brigender, I will answer this question again. First of all, you have 11 years of service, as you mentioned. You are a technically qualified officer. I mean, I don't agree to it that you are getting jobs as intern. You are at that right age to enter the industry with the right experience behind you of army. So there's no question that you would be taken as an intern. First thing. Second thing, if you want to get into security industry, you have the background knowledge and you can upskill yourself and join. Sky is the limit for you. Yeah, absolutely. And you can actually go for the gold standard and CISSP and other certifications, upskill yourself. And I don't see that there should be any problem for you to get a job, and a good job at that. So I hope that answers your question. Next, please.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, good evening. I'm Colonel Mathur here, sir, Rachit Mathur here. Sir, I have completed about 22 years of service. Moving on PMR. And as discussed by you also, I've already completed my CISSP as well as I'm pursuing my CH course here. However, whenever I'm seeing the job descriptions, they are asking so many things as if they wanted the sky is the limit in the job descriptions. So I really don't know what else should I do so as to get that my resume being shortlisted. In most of the job descriptions, they ask for everything. They ask for pen testing also. They ask for network security also. They ask for CISSP, CCSSP, CISA, CISM. So there's no end to it. So what should I do? I'm not able to understand.
Yeah, Aditya.
Yeah,
short and crisp.
Yeah, I will try to. First is, I think Rachit, you might have to look at your CV, right? In the sense, if you want to kind of fine tune it a bit, don't just rely on what is mentioned in the JD, right? So at times people kind of put in everything into it. effectively they might be needing just 20-30% of it, right? Just try to see. I think the confusion could be that they might be thinking someone getting into the testing, the technical part of it. I think if I could think, your positioning is more as a cybersecurity leader or a cybersecurity manager to start with.
Absolutely.
Right? Who understand that entire gamut, and this is how you should position yourself, right? CH at times might be creating bit of a confusion. So that should be shown as someone having interest in technology. That's it. You are not getting into, if I may suggest, not getting into that testing, etc. Just go for the security manager part of it. You may want to refer certain maybe the CVs if you think of, and then kind of tweak it a bit, etc.
Sir, like when I see the jobs available on the LinkedIn and all, there are jobs for security analysts, there are jobs for directors, there are, so to be very frank, it's very difficult for us who are coming out of the army to actually find out which is the correct job for me. Which role should I opt for? And when, as I told you, for all the jobs, the job description are almost the similar, wherein they are asking for everything.
Yeah, so Rachit, the thing is that the job description, it's the bad part of the recruiter actually who's posted that job and has not gone into the nitty-gritties of changing the job description. So don't worry about the job description. If you feel that you have the qualification and the role is of interest to you, you apply for it. Now, designing your CV, writing your resume, what kind of keywords are to be put in and action words, that's a totally different thing. Yes, Aditya.
I'll just take a minute. Rachitji, I think you should only to start with. Then later on you may just know that things might evolve. Just go for a role which give you overall exposure, because this is where you will fit in. Don't try to get into an individual domain within cybersecurity. Number one. Number two, those emerging things you may want to get better understanding if that helps. Say for example, what's happening in cloud, what's happening on the OT world, etc. That will also kind of get you into those shortlists.
And Rachit and all others also. Soon we are going to have a master class on resume writing. I mean, I will not say master class, but yes, it's going to be sort of a master class. So do log in. This is a very common problem. What Colonel Rachit sir, is it Colonel, Major General, whatever?
Sir, Colonel Rachit Mathur, sir.
Yeah. So Colonel Rachit has whatever problem he is facing. It's a very common problem, and we will address this. Amarjeet Patnaik. Sorry, sir, I don't know your rank and service, so you're all sir to me. Please don't mind if I call you by name. So you can ask your question. Amarjeet Mathur.
Sir, good evening, sir. My name is Lieutenant Commander Amarjeet Patnaik, retired, sir. I finished, yes, sir. I finished 10 years in the Navy as a short service commissioned officer into the technical arm of the naval aviation part as such. So my question is directed towards Ripu, sir. Very, very specific, sir. So I'm a technical officer. I have got no experience of any kind of fraud detection, CPP, professional CI, nothing. So how do I start off, sir? I mean, I was just, while he was giving his bits of knowledge, I was checking the CFE exam, and the CFE website specifies of 2 years of prerequisite experience in fraud detection or examination.
So who says you don't have the fraud detection experience? RD sir, please explain to him.
So, any inquiry which you have carried out, any court of inquiry which you have carried out, any investigation into somebody running absent without leave you have carried out is part of your experience.
Yes, yes.
So you just have to mention in that. I think this is hardly anything. And Lieutenant Commander with almost 11 years experience, no issue for you. You can say 11 years of experience. Nobody is going to ask you, and you can go ahead with the CFA thing. That's my short answer.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Clears up a lot of things. Thank you so much, sir.
Right. So, Avneet Kaur.
So, Jai Hind. So I'm Major Apneet. I'm
Thank you.
already working with DEY, but it was a cyber security thing, so I joined because right now I'm working as a cyber security consultant in the vulnerability and exposure management. So my question is to Aditya sir that I wanted to move to GRC and data privacy protection. So is it only the certifications which are going to help me, or it's a combination of all the domains which cybersecurity has? So, like, may it be a VAPT, threat exposure management, GRC, DPC, and then the AET and the other domains as well.
Hi, Avni. See, I think the exposure on various areas do help, but the certification and if it is done in right spirit, because it has got lots of the reading and the other stuff associated with it, will really get us the exposure which is needed for that part of it, right? And in between, if I may suggest, and depending upon the bandwidth and culture within EY, you may parallelly, while you are doing the threat management or the VAPT part of it, that do those courses and probably ask, if possible, you can ask those assignments as well.
Aditya, the thing is, I just wanted to understand in case the data privacy protection certifications, I wanted the start node of it. I'm not aware about it. So there are a number of things which people keep on telling. So it's CIPM, CIPP, number of them. So I could analyze that it is for the analyst level, it is for the managerial level. But to understand the basics, where do you suggest to start?
I think, in fact, the problem with CIPP and CIPM is they do not have, while these are gold standard of privacy protection, but they do not have relevant workshop for Asia, right? So while they have got certain workshop for US and certain workshop for some other territory, but not for Asia. So please do check. I think the starting point even could be from DSCI as well.
Right. Anybody else having any question? Yeah, Major Ashish.
So, Major Ashish here. Sorry, I've come in late, so I got caught up in the traffic, sir. I missed out most of the part of the webinar, sir. So, I'm an infantarian with hardly any knowledge of cyber security, but I just the certification part, as in CISSP, would be enough, or do I need like most of the job description asked for?
Sorry, Ashish, you will have to see the recording of this because we have already covered this topic. And I would like to give the chance. No worries. You can always see the recording of this thing. I would like to give a chance to somebody wanting to ask.
Fine.
Okay. Yeah. So anybody else having any question? Yeah, Nipun Yadav.
Jain sir, I think so. You might get a background sound of fire, sir. I'm on a firing range, but certainly I would ask one thing, sir. I I'm an infantry officer, sir. I'm a Gorkha officer. Secondly, I have done a BTech in electronics and communication. Then certainly there are many courses. You can say a triangle of diamond, or you can say a fuck triangle of an infantarian, sir. I have gone through all these, sir. Hawes, Licos, Commandos, and even I have done.
Sorry, Nipun.
Sir,
You're very well-rounded officer.
Yeah, you come to the question.
Sir, I have done one course, sir, which is of Signal, sir, ITPM, Information Technological Project Management, and it is mix of the things of project management as well as cyber security. Whether this course, which is of an given by Signal there in Mahu, sir, whether this course will be beneficial for me in putting up in my profile or CV for getting a job outside, sir.
Why not? I mean, why not? You've done something. You've done a course of instruction. It covered certain aspects, and you have to highlight what is it, and you may have to translate into the language which a recruiter outside understands. Of course, it will help.
Sir, because many of the things which I have got to know, sir, mainly they are searching for the things which has been done from outside world. They are not seeking things which has
It's
been we
not
have
that.
done inside.
No, it's not that. It's totally not true. So I will not. I think this will be better covered in the class for resume writing. How to
Sir,
translate your qualification which you have earned while in service and your experience of military. How to translate into a language which a recruiter outside understands. So I think that would be a better this thing. But
right, sir.
yes, it will be covered. Anybody else having any question, please? I am rushing it because it's already 9:37. Yeah, please, Aditya.
I just want to add a bit of a comfort, right? So, guys, there is a heavy shortage of skills in cybersecurity world, right?
Sir.
And what it means is not about diluting, but I think now the industry is willing to take certain, I would say, experiment, right? And typically going for the attitude part, and who can have better attitude than the armed forces, veterans. So just go for it. Start reading about technology, as we said earlier, right? Choose the program. In fact, in the chat window, I did mention a couple of tracks into it, and then later on during Telegram, means through Telegram, we can definitely connect. I think that there are lots of opportunities there.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's actually comforting.
Manish, one thing I want to add is
Yes.
that all the officers who are exiting, no matter what impression they have about AWPO, they must certainly get themselves registered with AWPO. The reason why I say this is that over the years, they also getting their systems streamlined. And
Sorry, sir, what is AWPO? I also don't know.
Okay. So it's a body called Army Welfare Placement Organization.
Okay.
They function out of Delhi Cant. Major General Ajay Chauhan is the one who's MD and heading that.
Right.
Why I say is that there may be a bit of hesitance or on their abilities, but since I've been cooperating with them for last year plus, I have realized that they are registering officers as per their qualifications, and a lot of industry is now falling back to them for asking them for names of suitable service officers. Of course, they forward the data and the CV, and then it's between the industry and the individual officer in terms of selection or the process that they follow. But generally, there's a tendency to underscore home organizations that the officer should avoid, and it doesn't take anything. I mean, while he's exiting, it's just a form he has to fill and few hundred rupees that he has to give.
Sure, sir.
He must do that.
So, gentlemen, please explore this option also of AWPO. And I think we don't have any further questions. And anybody having any more questions may do so through Telegram channel. So all that is left for me. I hope there is no more questions. Or last question, Arjun, RJ.
Good evening, sir, and I'm really thankful for this wonderful lecture that we received. I have a question. I'm presently pursuing my resettlement program from IIM Bangalore, and this course is being conducted in the hybrid mode, wherein we have the flexibility of time and we have the flexibility to do the course at the comfort of our homes. So I have good interest in cybersecurity, and I have enrolled myself for the coaching or the training program for CISSP and ISO 27001. So I just wanted to know, sir, I have a period of around 5 months left with me. Is it a realistic target to expect the course to be completed, to clear the exam within a period of 5 months? And is there anything else that I can do other than these two courses so that I can be like a hotcake in the market? My question is to Aditya, sir.
Yeah, Aditya, it's
so
for you only.
Arjun, in fact, during my ISP days, right? So I have had colleagues from armed forces, right? Colonels, lieutenant colonels, squadron leaders. So I could, and I think that is definitely one of the better moves. I think instead of you rushing into it, it's very difficult to say whether 5 months, depending upon the earlier exposure you have got. I would rather suggest don't I think you have chosen the right tracks to start with ISO and CISSP. Just deep dive into it, right? Just there are material available. Say for example, if you are into ISO 27, it's all about policy and processes. Then try to get exposure onto those policies and processes, how those are, how those policies documents are written, what is the thought process behind it. Similarly, into CSSP, because there are talking all the technologies. Read about them, right? Read about them.
Understood.
I would suggest, I think, don't go for any more certification, right? Just get exposure onto that itself.
Right.
And one
And
more thing, sir. I know that's a pretty mean question to ask. With an officer of around 11 years of service coming out onto the civic sector,
I know.
how can we expect how much can we expect, sir, in terms of the finances?
I think let me and Colonel Manish can add on, right? So let me put it this way: cyber security money is going off the roof, right? I think Brigadier Sir spoke about some salary. Sir, it has gone way high now.
Way high,
right?
yes.
It has gone way high. I think though it's very difficult to put a number, and it can vary. It can vary from say 2 lakhs to 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs. You don't know, right? Or what you. But I think more realistically, how I will put in Arjun for you is get a good entry. Go for a good entry. I think things will fall in place that way. I think the second move, third move will be very, very. The first move is going to be very important for us to start with, and then money is not a problem in cybersecurity world, right? There are not enough people at all. Yeah.
So Arjun, I think you should also. I don't know when is the talks scheduled for this resume writing. That we will talk about a little bit about salary negotiation also. But as Aditya has already brought out, don't just look at the salary. Look at the organization. Look at what the role is going to be. And if in cybersecurity domain especially, sky is the limit, and the growth is very, very fast. Provided you are also sincere in your. So I'm not taking any more questions, gentlemen. All those still having some questions may do so through our Telegram channel, and this talk will be uploaded on YouTube. So please subscribe to that channel also and go through it. Whatever all those who joined later. All that is left for me is right now to thank Brigadier Jag Varma, Colonel R.T. and Aditya sir. It's been a pleasure, interacting with you. It was indeed an honor for me to have you on this show. And thank you so much for taking out time and sharing your experiences. We would be troubling you again with the questions which our subscribers are post on the channel. And we would also request you that in case there are certain job opportunities which come for the veterans, please do share with us in your respective organization or in your. We have some wonderful people lined up. I mean, wonderful people waiting on the benches with right kind of talents. So we would like all of them to be placed in good roles. Thank you to all of you, and I also take this opportunity to thank all those officers who joined today and stayed with us till the end. I hope it was of some relevance, and you will benefit from.
Sir, may I get 30 seconds, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I just want to request all officers who are here and who are not a part of a Telegram group, kindly join the Telegram group, because that makes it easier for us to send across relevant information to you. We have 3 more talks planned this month itself, wherein Kochhar is going to be the host. One is on the 19th of August, where he has invited a very senior HR leader from hospitals to elucidate as to how hospitals can also be an extremely important viable option for officers who are transiting. Then he is hosting a talk as an expert on resume writing and interview preparation. And also we have some have done some wonderful work in the travel industry. They'll also been hosted by us in this month itself. So those who are here and who are still not a part of a Telegram group, please kindly join the Telegram group so that we are able to provide that information to you in time. Thank you so much.
And gentlemen, you will be amazed that the kind of opportunities which are there in the healthcare sector for and people, how wonderful, I mean, how good they are, the veteran officers are doing in this particular domain as well, and also in the travel industry. So do log in, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, sir, Jag sir, Aditya sir, and Adi sir. Thank you so much.
Gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on